We're going to be talking about a fascinating but yet alarming topic of China buying up all this farmland here in the United States of America.
China now owns 384,000 acres of land in the U.S. That's up 456% since 2011.
America cannot allow China to control our food supply. And the president and the Congress should end all farm subsidies for land owned by foreign nationals.
So grab a coffee, sit back while we unravel this riveting topic. I'll assume that you've heard all the buzz about China buying farmland here in the United States of America. If you haven't, you've been living under a rock. Recent reports indicate that Chinese companies are purchasing up alarmingly large portions of land here in the United States near military bases.
Yes, Sean, let me tell you what's going on in these Air Force bases. Number one, the one in North Dakota has some of our most sensitive drone and space technology that connects our space assets to our drones. So to intercept that from a few miles away isn't that hard. And down in Texas, where they're buying up hundreds of thousands of acres, where we train our pilots, the bigger piece, Sean, is that the Chinese Communist Party, as part of their national strategy to replace us as a global power, is seeking to dominate our supply chains. They already dominate our pharmaceuticals. They dominate solar panels and wind turbines that the left are trying to push us towards, the lithium supply. And in this case, now it's our food supply. In addition to this land that they're buying up, they've also bought the nation's largest pork processing plant. They're buying up grain mills because they know that if they can win this economically, if they can choke us off with these key supply chains, add computer chips and all kinds of others on top of it, then they don't even have to worry about a military conflict. And you add our debt on top of that as these stimulus checks keep flowing out to deal with a virus that they unleashed on us, that are flowing through Amazon and Walmart right to their manufacturing. It's checkmate. So my message is, when you see made in China, put it down. It's not just a jobs issue. It's a national security issue, and we've got to wake up as a country.
So let's talk about the numbers because they're big. Chinese investors own approximately 383,000 acres of farmland here in the United States at last count. Now, that may be only 1% of foreign-held agriculture, but where these Chinese companies are buying this farmland is what's alarming. The strategic placement of this farmland near military bases is what is raising eyebrows for most people. So the senator of South Dakota, Mike Rounds, he's sounding the alarm for one, and we're also sounding the alarm here in Florida. There are numerous states starting to express their concern over a foreign adversary like China buying up farmland.
The push to prohibit foreign land purchases from China has exploded across America. 15 states have passed laws regulating the practice. Much of the focus coming after controversial purchases in Texas and North Dakota, where Chinese companies bought land and failed to disclose it to the U.S. government.
In 2023, Florida passed a bill to stop foreign land purchases. And speaking of Florida, we recently passed Senate Bill 264, which prohibits foreign investors from specific countries like China from purchasing agricultural land or land near critical infrastructures such as military bases.
We really need to have a unified effort in this country to deter the CCP's ambitions and their influence. The legislation, SB 264, will prohibit the purchase of farmland in Florida by the CCP and other foreign countries of concern because we believe protecting our food supply is a security issue, and we want to make sure that our agriculture land is not compromised by CCP influence. Now, the prohibition in that bill is not just limited to farmland. It also includes land within 10 miles of any military installation or any type of critical infrastructure in our state.
And apparently people are starting to wake up because there's dozens of states starting to implement legislation like this. What I want to know is, why is it not illegal to begin with? It should be a law that a foreign country can't come in and buy all this farmland, regardless of who they are. And why it's such a big deal? Because it has to do with national security. China's very skilled at spying.
The United States is making an unprecedented charge against another country, the Chinese, charging a team of Chinese spies with stealing American inventions and costing a lot of American jobs. The director of the FBI exclusively talked to ABC senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas today, saying that in essence, the Chinese seem to feel why build it if you can just steal it.
When a Chinese spy was extradited to the US, the FBI got its hands on a remarkable resource, his iPhone. It shed valuable light on how Asia's largest economy steals top-secret technology.
The proximity of a Chinese-owned company to a military base makes it quite easy for them to surveil what is going on. The U.S. Air Force has even labeled some of these land acquisitions as a significant threat to national security. And let's put this into perspective. Let's look at the broader implications of a Chinese communist company being in charge of our food supply.
Specifically, a focus on China. Lacking farmland, China has struggled to secure food for its 1.4 billion citizens. Just recently, in August, 4 Chinese government departments warned a drought posed a severe threat to the autumn harvest. That has driven overseas investments in food, including the purchase of Virginia-based pork producer Smithfield Foods and partnership with Growmark, a grain logistics firm. In a July letter to the Agriculture Department, 19 Republican lawmakers said China commits intellectual property theft and has been prosecuted for attempting to steal U.S. seed DNA information.
State legislatures have considered measures to address foreign ownership of U.S. land, especially after the high-profile Chinese spy balloon flew over the country earlier this year.
It was surely the most bizarre crisis of the Biden administration. America's top-of-the-line jet fighters, seen here in routine training, sent up to shoot down, of all things, a balloon.
The balloon is completely destroyed.
A Chinese spy balloon floating across the United States. In-your airspace espionage that had the nation and its politicians in a tizzy.
I am so angry. I want to use other words, but I'm not going to.
I mean, if they start owning a lot of land here and control a very large portion of food production here in the United States, they will be able to affect the food supply chain, which will affect you and I. I mean, it's always been a good idea to let our foreign adversaries be in charge of our food supply. Now, as I said, here in Florida, we put in laws to help mitigate this. But what do you think? Should we do this nationwide? Should we ban Chinese companies from buying land, particularly farmland? You know, we have to draw the line somewhere. We really do. It's a national security risk. I mean, our border right now is wide open. We already have tons of people coming over the border. There is no vetting. You know, the terrorists are coming across the border. They're here, they're hiding, and we're just letting Chinese companies come in and buy land right next to our military bases. It's insane. When are we going to wake up and turn this ship around? Well, I'd love to know what you think about the Chinese company buying up all the farmland. They're also buying up food production companies here in the United States. There should be a law against that. We are constantly dealing with this threat, and I'd like to know what you think. If you enjoy the content, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. Of course, you gave me part of your day, and I so appreciate that. Oh, and if you'd like to know how the government and private corporations are going to change your diet forever, well, you should watch this video right here. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, take care.